People get ready. There's a train a-coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast. I love to sing, and I think in my songs I have a message.
What's your message?
The message is love one another. Just love one another. Yes, there's a lot more people struggling. You're seeing a lot more homeless than you used to see.
So what do you attribute that to since you've been here?
In one word, greed.
We see a lot of folks living in tents and other structures along the freeway, under the freeway, in really unsafe conditions.
We're a very tech-centered city now, with Amazon growing and of course Microsoft being here and other tech businesses. Real estate has gone up, rentals has gone up. People can't hardly afford. What do they do when they can't afford to pay their rent? Many of them end up on the streets, sadly.
This isn't a new phenomenon in Seattle. It's just a problem that has gone unaddressed for so long.
Excuse me, I want to say something to this place. I want to say that Seattle's a beautiful city. There's a lot of problems with the homeless, but guess what? We will survive because the law will protect all those. Amen.
Seattle is experiencing a human crisis right now. Seattle is experiencing a crisis of what happens when people who have more and more and more, and it makes people who don't have a lot have less and less and none. What actually is happening, people are struggling, people have been suffering for a really long time, and it's pouring out to where now you can't ignore it anymore. And now it's the city's problem. But it has been these people's problems and these people's lives in reality for a very long time. And so, surprise.
There are no places for the mentally ill to go anymore, so where do they go? They're on the streets. I see it every day walking up and down here while I'm working.
I work, in the building across the street, and, there's shootings. I see people, as I walk between buildings, dealing drugs during the middle of the day. Police standing right next to them, not doing anything.
I literally saw a woman smoking crack in her wheelchair right by my bus stop. I've also seen this same woman selling drugs. That's her life, and it makes me really sad.
We see too much crime. We see too many folks using and dealing drugs on the sidewalk. We see folks with untreated mental illness not connected to services. So it's all of that, and we need to break apart all those issues because the strategies and interventions are different, and we need to be smart about how we're applying those strategies so we can really be effective.
The decriminalization of drugs in and of itself is a problem. I'm not a proponent of prisons or any of that stuff. That's not what I'm suggesting. But when you decriminalize something so you don't have to deal with it, are you really still solving the problem?
We've had our political arguments in Seattle of how to go about solving it. We had a proposal last year to tax all jobs in Seattle that we thought was not the right approach, and neither did the public, and so it was repealed.
Problem is everybody has a different idea about how to attack homelessness. Having city council, county council, and the mayor's office get on the same page about what a proper approach is has been almost impossible in any city. People have different ideas. People want to throw money at it, but where to throw money? Do we throw money into resources? Do we throw money into buildings? It takes a while to build buildings. How much money actually is it going to take to house everyone that's homeless right now? What do we do in the meantime? Do we need to build more shelters? It's so many questions. Like, you could bite this apple 15 directions, but the energy it takes to bite it in 15 spaces is the energy that's lost actually biting it 15 bites directly to the center and getting to the core.
believe that our faith in Jesus Christ is actually the core of where healing begins. We provide an environment where people can stabilize, and we actually have steps that they can move forward and get jobs and careers and houses and all those sort of things. But really at the end of the day, it's about God showing up in their life and then surrounding them with community. We plug them into local churches that are the long-term support for them.
All of our ambassador positions in our cleaning program have really been oriented around folks coming out of homelessness that are living on the street one day, and then a week later they might be cleaning that same portion of the street, but now they're getting wages and benefits. They got a retirement plan. We make an intentional effort to go to organizations and places where we can directly connect with folks who are homeless. Sometimes they find us because they see an ambassador in uniform working out on the street, and they say, how do I get one of those jobs? And so you'll talk to a lot of folks on our team, and that's how they got connected to us. And they've been cleaning a sidewalk for 10 years that they used to sleep on.
Seattle seems to have more than enough services for the homeless community, which makes them rather close to solving the issue. What they need to do is find a way to gather their services to create one goal to help the city. They all do seem to agree on one thing, though.
Well, hopefully in 5 years, the money that has been given to help create places for the homeless to go, that those people will be at home and that people don't feel unsafe to walk in the streets. Because I've been here all my life and it's very hard to see.
We have some approaches that we know work, housing first, and we've been leaders nationally with some of the nonprofits here that have developed that model, and we're expanding that effort with a lot of investment from the private sector in some of those campaigns that nonprofits are leading.
The building for affordable housing has not kept up at all with the building for high-priced housing. At the rate that people are being displaced because they can't afford to live in places like Seattle, there haven't been alternatives built at the same rate. And so I think that has a lot to do with the homelessness issue in Seattle. So I just think it's a very complex situation that it's gonna require complex answers. And people have a very complex situation and they want simple, fast answers. And that's just not the humane way to respond.